In the 1990s, these gemstones were misjudged, mislabeled, or traded for less than the cost of lunch. But while Wall Street swung through cycles and crashes, they climbed quietly, powerfully, and in some cases, exponentially. One is now valued higher per gram than gold. Another triggered a seven-figure bidding war. These aren't just minerals. They're hidden performers, 10 gemstones that have defied trends, outpaced markets, and continue to rise today. And the most valuable, it was once buried, forgotten, and now sits in a crown worth millions. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Peridot, the underdog that glows. In the 1990s, Peridot was often dismissed as a second-tier gemstone, commonly found in budget jewelry, mislabeled as the poor man's emerald. Back then, even top-grade material sold for as little as $50 per carat, and few outside the birthstone crowd gave it serious attention. But that all changed with a discovery in Pakistan's remote Supit region. Peridot was so vivid, clean, and neon bright from the fire-forged crust of ancient volcanic rock that it turned heads in the gemological world. Unlike most gemstones that form in the Earth's crust, Peridot is born in the mantle and brought to the surface by volcanic activity. It's a geological rarity, one of the few gemstones that can glow from within thanks to its iron-rich olivine structure. Today, high-quality peridot over 10 carats from Pakistan or old Burmese sources can command prices between $600 and $1,500 per carat, with museum-quality pieces selling even higher at auction. One 12.2-carat specimen fetched nearly $14,000 in 2023. But what makes Peridot a standout investment is its honesty. No heating, no coating, no enhancements. What you see is what nature made. And as the jewelry market grows more skeptical of treated stones, natural Peridot's appeal only increases. From a gem once cast aside, it's featured in high jewelry by names like Cartier and Piaget. For collectors seeking stones with upside potential and geological pedigree, Peridot is no longer the backup. It's the breakout. Ranked 9th, Zircon, the diamond decoy that outsmarted time. Long mistaken for something else, Zircon has spent centuries living under a borrowed name. In the 1990s, gem dealers frequently dismissed it, confusing it with low-cost synthetics or cheap imitations of diamonds. Prices for fine Cambodian and Sri Lankan blue zircon rarely exceeded $30 to $50 per carat, and supply was abundant, especially in the post-war markets of Southeast Asia. Yet the truth about zircon runs deeper than appearance. It's one of the oldest minerals on Earth, older than diamond itself, dating back over 4.4 billion years. Natural zircon possesses exceptional brilliance and fire thanks to a high refractive index that rivals top-cut diamonds. When properly faceted, it displays a vivid electric blue hue, unmatched by any untreated gemstone. Over the last 3 decades, this overlooked brilliance has caught the attention of high-end cutters and collectors. Untreated specimens over 5 carats, free of cloudiness and with intense saturation, now command prices upwards of $500 to $1,500 per carat. Larger stones, particularly those above 10 carats, have become increasingly rare due to declining output from traditional mines in Cambodia and Sri Lanka. Zircon's rise has not been dramatic, but it has been steady, reliable, and quietly compounding in value. Unlike trend-driven stones, zircon's investment appeal lies in its geological integrity and scarcity in larger sizes. Once passed over for what it was mistaken to be, zircon commands respect for precisely what it is: a relic of planetary history, cut to precision and poised for continued appreciation. Ranked 8th, Tourmaline, Rubellite, and Indicolite, the stone that split the spectrum. Between the poles of red and blue lies one of the most complex and volatile gemstones in the investment world, tourmaline. Unlike uniform stones like sapphire or emerald, tourmaline is a study in extremes. In the 1990s, Rubellite, its fiery, purplish-red variety, was plagued by instability. Too often, stones would fade, fracture, or display muddy tones under artificial light. Indicolite, the wealthy blue cousin, suffered the opposite fate. Too subtle, overlooked, and misunderstood. Back then, Prices for Rubellite rarely crossed $100 per carat, even for saturated material. Indicolite fared no better. Dealers treated them as decorative side stones, never centerpieces. But behind the scenes, a transformation had already begun. Brazilian mines began yielding Rubellite with exceptional color stability, while Mozambique revealed Indicolite of oceanic depth and purity, some stones reaching over 10 carats with no visible zoning. Today, the finest Rubellite and Indicolite tourmalines, clean, untreated, and well-cut, can command prices between $2,000 and $6,000 per carat. These are not decorative anymore. They are centerpieces in high jewelry commissions across Geneva and Paris. The trait that once made tourmaline difficult to standardize, its chemical variability, has become its strongest asset. No two stones are ever the same. In a market where uniformity often dictates price, tourmaline thrives by doing the opposite. It invites complexity, resists imitation, and rewards those who study its nuances. From flawed to celebrated, its ascent has been neither straight nor smooth, but unmistakably upward. Ranked 7th, Chrysoberyl cat's eye, the watcher in the stone. For centuries, the eye has been a symbol of power, protection, and unblinking truth. Within Chrysoberyl's cat's eye, that symbolism becomes literal. A single beam of light gliding across its domed surface reveals a phenomenon so precise and focused that it earned the name cymophane from the Greek chyma, wave, and pianos, light. In the 1990s, the Chrysoberyl cat's eye was an heirloom gemstone, passed down quietly through families in Sri Lanka and select collectors in Brazil. While known in Asia for centuries, particularly as a talisman in Buddhist and Hindu traditions, its global market remained modest. Fine specimens displaying a sharp centered eye and strong milk and honey contrast rarely sold for more than $500 per carat, even at sizes above 6 carats. But tradition has weight. Over time, the gem's mystique, its association with insight, wealth, and unshakable vision, drew the attention of connoisseurs seeking depth over dazzle. Demand quietly grew as modern buyers rediscovered the precision required to cut an actual cat's eye cabochon. Today, museum-grade stones, untreated, properly proportioned, and over 10 carats, can reach $8,000 to $12,000 per carat, with private collectors in Hong Kong, Singapore, and New York bidding against one another. Chrysoberyl cat's eye holds still. It doesn't perform, it waits. In a market saturated with brilliance, this gem offers something else entirely. Focus, a single light, a silent gaze. It is a reminder that value doesn't always shine. It watches. Ranked 6th, Tsavorite Garnet, the green asset of East Africa. Among investment-grade colored stones, Tsavorite Garnet stands alone, unheated, unenhanced, and fiercely rare above the 3-carat mark. First discovered in the hills of northeastern Tanzania in the late 1960s and mined commercially in Kenya's Tsavo region, this deep green garnet was once known only to a niche circle of gem buyers. But since the 1990s, its trajectory has been unmistakable. From an overlooked alternative to one of the most stable and appreciating assets in the colored gem market. What sets Tsavorite apart is not just color, it's clarity, durability, and scarcity. Its chrome and vanadium-based green rivals, top emeralds without brittleness or standard inclusions. Stones under 2 carats remain accessible, but once a favorite crosses the 5-carat threshold with intense saturation and eye-clean clarity, prices can surge beyond $8,000 per carat. 1995, those same stones were traded for less than $400 per carat. The supply side tells a sharper story. Political instability, mining restrictions, and difficulty finding large roughs have choked consistent production. Unlike rubies or sapphires, Tsavorite has no global stockpile, no Burmese legacy, no Sri Lankan reserves. It is East Africa or nothing. As wealth migrates toward portable, tangible assets, Tsavorite attracts buyers seeking long-term resilience over speculative spikes. It doesn't rely on celebrity endorsement or trend cycles. Its appeal lies in fundamentals: exceptional optics, limited availability, and a 30-year track record of compounded appreciation. In the realm of green gemstones, Tsavorite isn't the loudest, but it may be the smartest. Ranked fifth, Spinel, the imposter that outperformed royalty. For centuries it was celebrated, but under the wrong name. Spinel adorned the British imperial state crown and passed through Persian dynasties, yet it was misidentified as ruby until the 20th century. Few stones in gemological history have endured such a profound case of mistaken identity, and few have staged such a dramatic comeback. By the 1990s, Spinel still lived in the shadow of corundum. Even with natural beauty and vivid saturation, it was labeled a ruby substitute, trading for $20 to $100 per carat in most markets. Yet quietly, Burmese mines yielded blood-red specimens with remarkable clarity, and Tanzanian deposits near Mahenge revealed a neon pink so vivid that it defied classification. The reappraisal came swiftly. Once gem labs refined their detection standards and dealers began distinguishing Spinel's cubic crystal structure, its actual value emerged. Top-grade Burmese red Spinel and Mahenge pink sell for $5,000 to $15,000 per carat, with museum pieces reaching six figures. Stones over 5 carats, especially untreated and well-cut, are now cornerstones in high jewelry exhibitions from Tokyo to Geneva. Spinel's rise wasn't built on hype, but on correction. As the market realized the error, collectors raced to reclaim what had been hiding in plain sight. Its single refractive brilliance, durability, and rarity in large sizes positioned it not as a fallback, but as a future-proof blue-chip gem. Among all gemstones once dismissed, none rewrote its legacy with such force. Spinel didn't just rise in value, it reclaimed its name. Ranked fourth, Alexandrite, the Emperor's Illusion. There exists a gemstone that defies expectation, changing color not with heat, not with angle, but with light itself. In daylight, it radiates forest green. Under incandescent bulbs, it glows crimson. This is Alexandrite, the gem that doesn't just reflect beauty, it rewrites it. Discovered in Russia's Ural Mountains in the 1830s, Alexandrite was named in honor of Tsar Alexander II and swiftly became a national treasure of Imperial Russia. But by the late 20th century, the original mines had long been exhausted, and only a handful of collectors truly understood what was lost. In the 1990s, Brazilian and Sri Lankan sources began producing small but significant quantities. At the time, even fine examples fetched between $500 and $1,200 per carat, a reflection of obscurity, not worth. Then came the shift. As spectroscopy and advanced gemology reclassified the stone's chromium-rich structure, interest surged. Today, untreated Alexandrite with strong, dramatic color change commands $15,000 to over $70,000 per carat, with Russian origin stones above 2 carats regarded as unicorns in the trade. Rarer still are those over 5 carats, where private sales often reach 6 figures. Beyond investment, Alexandrite carries symbolism few gems possess: duality, rarity, unpredictability. It is the only central gem that consistently displays 2 distinct colors without treatment, a natural optical paradox. In a world obsessed with clarity and permanence, Alexandrite whispers a different message. Value lies in transformation, and the illusion becomes legacy in that elusive shift from green to red, past to present. Ranked third, Paraíba Tourmaline, the neon flash that vanished too soon. It appeared, burned through the market like lightning, and nearly disappeared. In the late 1980s, miners in Brazil's Paraíba state unearthed something unreal. An electric blue tourmaline lit from within by copper. No gem before or since has captured that kind of glow. An intensity so otherworldly it seemed synthetic. But it wasn't. It was natural, rare, and finite. By the early 1990s, word spread fast, but not fast enough. Many dealers mistook it for enhanced material or treated quartz. At the time, even vivid stones sold for $400 to $800 per carat, with large gems over 5 carats rarely crossing $2,000. Those who hesitated would soon regret it. The original Paraíba mine was nearly depleted within a decade, and prices surged. Brazilian specimens with intense neon saturation and no visible inclusions now fetch $30,000 to $100,000 plus per carat, depending on origin and size. Anything above 3 carats from the original deposit is considered a world-class collector's item. While Mozambique and Nigeria have since produced copper-bearing varieties, the Brazilian originals remain unmatched in intensity and scarcity. Auction houses like Christie's and Phillips have featured them in record-breaking sales, often noting provenance as critically as clarity. Paraíba Tourmaline isn't just rare, it redefined rarity. Its window of discovery was barely a decade wide. Its market is still climbing, and its glow, unmistakable. Among investment stones, this one didn't rise gradually. It exploded and left the world scrambling to find what little remains. Ranked second, Sapphire, the crown jewel of provenance. Before algorithms tracked value, sapphires wrote their worth into royal bloodlines and empire treasuries. 2 origins remain supreme among them: the mist-veiled mines of Kashmir and the ancient hills of Burma. In the gemstone world, few names carry as much authority or price power. In the 1990s, unheated sapphires from these regions were already highly regarded, but the market had not yet matured into today's obsession with provenance. Back then, a top-color Kashmir sapphire, velvety, cornflower blue, untreated, could trade hands for $5,000 to $8,000 per carat. Burmese stones, especially those from Mogok, hovered just below. Today, those same gems have shattered ceilings. Exceptional Kashmir sapphires above 5 carats, certified as unheated and untreated, now command $80,000 to over $150,000 per carat. Burmese stones of similar pedigree have approached $100,000 per carat, particularly if paired with antique settings or royal connections. A single 17.16 carat Kashmir sapphire sold for $4 million at Sotheby's Geneva in 2022. But this isn't just about color, it's about legacy. The original Kashmir deposit was depleted by the early 20th century, making discoveries virtually impossible. Burma's finest sources have faced political closure and international sanctions, further limiting supply. Meanwhile, global demand, fueled by collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, has only intensified. For those seeking long-term portable wealth backed by cultural weight, Kashmir and Burmese sapphires remains in a category few stones ever reach: heirloom grade, auction-tested, future-proof. In the first place, ruby, the bloodline of kings. Among all gemstones, one reigns, not for its brilliance, but for its fire. Ruby from Burma, now Myanmar, is not merely rare. It is sovereign. Known as the King of Gems, it has been carved into the seals of emperors, hidden in the crowns of conquerors, and fought over in silent and bloody wars. No stone in history has carried more weight, symbolic or economic. In the 1990s, Burmese ruby was already prestigious, but access remained limited. Sanctions, political unrest, and tightly controlled mining made acquisition difficult. Still, stones over 2 carats with an actual pigeon blood hue, rich red with a hint of fluorescence, could be found for $5,000 to $12,000 per carat. At the time, even connoisseurs underestimated their trajectory. 3 decades later, that same stone has ascended into legend. Unheated Burmese rubies over 5 carats, with gemological proof of origin and purity, now demand $100,000 to over $1 million per carat. The world auction record? A 25.59 carat Burmese ruby named the Sunrise Ruby, sold for $30.3 million, or $1.18 million per carat, at Sotheby's Geneva in 2015. But beyond the numbers lies something untouchable. Burmese ruby glows, not from within, but from myth, bloodlines, and centuries of reverence. The Mogok Valley's origin is no longer just a mine. It's a legend etched into the Earth's crust. Each gem pulled from its soil carries a signature no lab can replicate: sovereign red. In the language of long-term value, ruby does not fluctuate. It dictates. And among investment-grade gemstones, none holds court like Burmese ruby. It is not a gem you chase, but a gem the world is still chasing. Some investments leave behind numbers. Others leave behind a legacy. Over 3 decades, these gemstones have proven that real value isn't always found in vaults or ledgers. It's carved by time, hidden beneath pressure, and measured not just in carats, but in conviction. But this list is only the beginning. New stories are still being unearthed across volcanic valleys, fossilized oceans, and meteorite craters. The next gemstone treasure might not lie in a stock portfolio, but in the soil, the strata, and the silence beneath our feet. Let us know which resonates with you in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.